So how many of you are creators? How many of you would like to build a channel and sell it for $100 million? That's basically what we're going to talk about with one of the experts out there in building that. So really happy to have Tyler Chou here. She's been helping creators as the creator attorney for the last 4 years, but's worked as a corporate lawyer for big media companies, has been involved with big IP and big companies. And now her mission is to help creators build great businesses and get paid. So she's helping creators with both that aspect of it and also the legal side as well, because, she is like a real lawyer. So we're going to talk for 20 minutes here on stage. And then 10 minutes later, she gets a break. There's going to be a great session on clipping here, but we'll be over there in the creator, whatever it's called, the creator workshop area. I can't even read it over there, but we're going to go back over there about 2:30 and just do an AMA on legal stuff or really anything you want to ask Tyler about. So that's how that's going to work. But let's talk about building and selling those creator channels. So again, big round of applause. Tyler Chou, come on stage, the creator attorney, and we are going to talk about building and scaling channels. Thank you.
Hi, Jim. It's always nice to have a conversation on stage in a different country. Last time was in Dubai, but here we are in Vegas.
We are in Vegas. I relish this. Okay, let's start it out. Like your big thesis here, right? Channel versus business. You tell creators all the time, your YouTube channel is not your business. What do you mean by that? And why is that so hard for them to hear?
It's devastating for creators because their channel is their identity. They have spent years growing this channel, so they think this is my business. And I say to them, no, your YouTube channel is the marketing arm of your business. But what is your business? And most creators have no answer to that. And that's a problem because they are basically being tenants on YouTube's land or Meta's land or TikTok's land.
Kind of sounds like some psychoanalysis you go through. Did you study psych at school as well as legal? Are you like sitting there trying to get them over the hump on this one?
It's so interesting because I say to my clients as well as my junior attorneys, what we do is about 90% human behavior and 10% the law. Because when you're trying to close a deal or trying to figure out what the other person wants, you have to ask them, what is it that you want? So that we can get to a place where we're both happy. I was an attorney in Hollywood for 20 years. I worked at Disney, Skydance, BuzzFeed, and I always would ask the other side, what do you need? When I was doing Ang Lee's director agreement, I asked them, what do you need? Do you need first class? Does your wife need to come on set? And they would say, no, Ang needs this money for his technology, like for Gemini Man. So it's always very important to ask the other side, what is it that you want? And for a lot of these creators, I ask them that question, do you want an exit? But a lot of them don't understand what an exit means because when you exit, that means you're bringing in investors, you're potentially bringing on a new boss that these creators, these kids have never had before.
Yeah, well, when I exit companies, and I've done it a couple of times, I always told my teams and the people I built the company with, it's like, it's not your company anymore. Exactly. The vision that we had, what we were growing, somebody just paid us a boatload of money because they think they can make it better. It fits in more and they're going to tell us things that we don't agree with, but it's not our company anymore. How hard is it for a creator to hear that?
It's so hard because these are kids who some have never been to college. Some have never had a corporate job. They just started YouTube like Mr. Beast in their bedroom when they're 12 and they do it for 10 years when they're 22. They're experts. And now you're bringing in private equity funds or investors telling you how to make your content, how to run your business. And that's very, very hard for them.
So this is a tough question. At what point is a creator ready for that kind of question? How do you know when a creator is ready, big enough at that level when they can start thinking that way? Talk about where in a creator life cycle that happens.
So there are a few elements that we look at, but the number one, and I hate to go there, but it really is the number. What is your revenue? What are you grossing every year? And the number is, it would be surprising. If you're making $500,000 a year, that's attractive for an investor or private equity fund because they realize that just based off of AdSense and brand deals, you're making $500,000 a year with really good margins usually because their teams are very lean. They usually only have a handful of employees or independent contractors. So that's the number one is what's the gross? And number two is what is your recurring revenue, right? What is something that the investors can count on month after month, year after year?
Yeah. And are you ready from a financial perspective? But you didn't mention views, subscribers, any of those other metrics. Those don't matter?
Well, they do matter, right? Let's be honest. Mr. Beast has 400 million subscribers. That's more viewers than Netflix has. So of course, that's a very, very important number. But if Mr. Beast simply had his YouTube channel, he wouldn't be as attractive. He wouldn't be a real business. He has so many revenue streams. He probably has 15 revenue streams. He has Feastables. He has consumer goods that can live without his face. You know, Feastables was named without his name, which I think is very, very important. When I launch products for my clients, we always try to make sure that we don't use their names. I have a client, you know, we'll talk about him, the one I'm working on close to $100 million exit. His budgeting app doesn't have his name on it. We did that on purpose to make sure that the products can live beyond the creator's name. And the key man risk is very real for most investors and people looking to acquire businesses.
Yeah. I mean, the key man risk on Mr. Beast is tough. And that's one of the things the chocolate business tried to get over. You talked about food. You talked about an investment app. When a creator sits down with you and you start talking to them about what their business really is, what are some of the key areas you recommend that they go into that are bigger than just their face on camera?
So this is my favorite phrase right now. Data is the new oil. If your YouTube channel goes down tomorrow, and I'll ask a big YouTuber this, do you have access to your audience? Do you have an email list? Because YouTube and Meta and TikTok, they don't give you any of that data. You don't know who's in your audience. So the number one thing, if you guys take away anything from my talk today, is please have an email list. Give a free PDF away. Give some value to get that email list. I mean, Jib, you have an amazing newsletter. Talk about how valuable that is.
Well, I have a newsletter, but you know what? Until about a year ago when I started using Beehive, I had no idea who my subscribers were because it's all on LinkedIn. And yes, they're connected to me and they're on LinkedIn. I can reach them, but I didn't know them. I now have my newsletter is almost 5,000 on Beehive, which compared to the 35,000 I have on LinkedIn is small, but every single one of them I am connected with, and they made an effort to be there. And so I look at the value of my LinkedIn followers versus my followers on Beehive. And I don't know, is that like a 10x for each one of those Beehives or more or less? What do you think? What should I do, Tyler? We've been down that road.
Jim is a client of mine. And so, yes, I think understanding what investors are looking for is very important. Investors are looking for something that they can grow without your face, without your ability to stay on. Because we're about 5-6 years from COVID. The reason why this moment in time is so important is because one, the private equity funds, the streamers, the studios are waking up and realizing how valuable this loyal fandom and audience that creators have are. And now they want to acquire. And we've had enough data, we've had enough exits now that we can look at and say, oh, we can actually grow these businesses. We can acquire a company for 100 million and they could 10x for us. These are billion-dollar companies. The streamers, look at Netflix doing deals with Mark Rober and Jordan Matters. You know, they're doing these overall deals because, and Mr. Beast with Amazon, they understand how important this 1-to-1 audience ratio is that the YouTubers have.
So let's walk through with a little bit of a case study on this channel that you were talking about. You're brokering a channel sale now. I think I've got like 15 revenue streams or something. Talk about what that is, what a buyer is actually buying, and how you've helped to build that up, and some of the key things that you can sort of lift up a level and help everyone here who's got a channel is thinking, how am I going to get there?
So let's give the background here. I have a client who is a finance YouTuber, and he's not huge. He has about 3 million subscribers, but his revenues are very diverse. He has about 15 revenue streams. And 18 months ago, he said to me, Tyler, I want to exit. I want to sell my business. Can we go out to market and see how much my channel would be worth? So we went out and spoke to 4 private equity funds, 2 of which, acquired Veritasium and MatPat. And we got the number of about $35 million, which is amazing. This is a 30-year-old guy who,
no equity, no debt, all owned by him. 35 million. I'd take it. I would right now.
But you know what I said to him, Jim? I said, let's wait. I said, I think you could be worth $100 million in about 3 years. But there are a few things we have to do. Now, he did have some equity. He gave some equity to his best friend.
All right.
We had to buy those back. He had revenue sharing deals with some independent contractors that we bought out. And I told him, you need to build a technical app that will be a standalone that we could sell to private equity funds who can roll it up for $30 or $50 million on its own. So that's what we did. We built this budgeting app, and back in October, so less than a year from that 35 million evaluation, we went out to market again, and we were told it was closer to 90 to $100 million.
Wow. And so what was it about that revenue diversification that makes it so much more valuable than just an AdSense channel?
So here's the thing with AdSense. If your YouTube channel goes down, your AdSense goes away. And there are a lot of YouTubers making 6 or 7 figures on AdSense every year. But that is not something that an investor will look at as a safe investment, because the algorithm could change. And we're always hearing about it. For a while it was all about shorts, and then now it's not about shorts. And so we never know what we're supposed to do. I mean, us on LinkedIn, we can't get impressions right now to save our lives. It's just like, it's always changing. And so depending on repeatable revenue, so these are what private equity funds are looking for. They're usually 5 elements. One is your audience, connection to your audience, reoccurring revenue, IP, which is what you own, right? The videos, your courses, anything that is your IP, your team, right? These funds really look at, well, what kind of team do you have? And then the data, which is what we talked about, is what do you own? Recognize that I never mentioned the creator in that calculation, because the creator, we want to be able to substitute him out and replicate him. For this client of mine, I'm actually trying to build out a network for him so that he could have smaller channels underneath him of up and coming creators, finance creators who could build underneath him. He would take equity in them. I mean, Mr. Beast is doing this. I just filmed a video about this. He had 3 intent to use trademarks, and one of them's a creator incubator. So this is how investors are looking at it. This is how the big channels are gearing towards an enterprise value. I mean, Mr. Beast is worth in the billions now, and he's working towards an IPO. That's his goal. And that's what a lot of YouTubers and creators are looking toward as well.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about key man risk and the idea that you are the face of your channel, and if you walk away, there's nothing left. And so really you're trying to de-risk that, right? And
yes.
You talked a little bit about the private equity companies that, bought Theorist Media was one of them. MatPat's actually here on stage on Tuesday. LinkedIn is here also. So we can ask him about why we don't think what happened to our impressions. But talk about that and how you as a creator think about multiplying yourself, because, with AI, your client could just create digital twins of themselves like Cabby Lame, and then maybe that's something.
Well, digital twins are very big. I mean, I'm actually speaking to Delphi soon and probably creating a digital twin to myself so you can scale. Now, we all know this. AI content tends not do so well. I mean, I was talking with my community about this as should we make digital twins of ourselves to make content? And there's a lot of back and forth about that, whether if that's a good idea. But I think scaling is always an issue. How do you take yourself out of the equation so that you can be a good acquisition for the investors?
Yeah, you want to have a group around you. I mean, MatPat did it with all the different Theorist brands that they launched. And we've seen like Mythical do this with Mythical Food and all this other. They were able to sell some of those off. So the key there is, and how hard is it for creators when you ask them to just let go? And it's like, put other people in front of the camera.
It depends, right? A lot of them are approaching burnout. Like I said, we're about 5 to 6 years from COVID, where a lot of people started their channels. A lot of creators come to me and say, is this it? Is this the rest of my life? Am I just going to make videos day in and day out? I need an exit plan. I need a plan B. And the plan B is, how do you diversify? Do you have a community? Do you have a newsletter? Do you have a product? I think we haven't talked about products yet. Products is very important. I think launching a physical product or technical product is very important. Apps are so easy to build now. I mean, I have founder friends who are building apps with Lovable and Claude in over a weekend. So if you're a fitness creator, if you're a finance creator, if you're a spiritual leader, like, you can have different apps that allow your audience to build a relationship with you off of the platform. That's very important.
Okay. So you're building a product, whether it's a physical product or a tech product. You're out there, you're on Claude. You're like, I got a great idea. I'm going to build it and then I'm going to put it out there. How do you get product creator fit and then product community fit to make sure that it matches who you are as a creator, and that it's something that your community is going to want as well? Because you can stick an app out there and nobody's going to do anything, or you can put it out there and your audience will eat it up.
So there is some magic here. And this is part of the work that I do with my M&A advisory arm, CreatorArq. So creators will come to me and say, I want to launch a product, or I want to diversify my business. And I will go on a journey with them for probably a month or two, trying to figure out what that fit is. Some people want to launch an app. Some people want to launch a clothing line. I have a client who's based in Alaska. They want to do something with, the animal rescue groups there. It really depends. And I think there's a creator named May Pham who does an amazing hoodie line where she brings in her audience and she asks them, like, what should I launch? What would you guys love? What is a product in the marketplace that's missing? We're here with so many equipment. I mean, so many creators, or, what's his name? Johnny Harris?
Yeah, no. Johnny Harris. Yeah.
Is he the one who created all the backpack? Was that him or no?
Oh, no. You're talking about for the dogs? All right. Well, anyway.
Yeah. No, but you ask your audience, you ask them, well, what's the missing product? What's the thing that I need that's not in the marketplace? I think there is something really powerful to bringing your audience in so that they have buy-in. When you are designing it with them, when you're talking with them, and when it finally launches, they're so excited to buy from you.
Yeah. So I think it was Maxine the Corgi needed to get around. And so there's like a dog backpack they created.
Okay.
Which I actually have one. It's really good. Couple minutes we have left. Let's flip it over for a minute, because I want to talk about the people actually doing the acquisitions, because it's good to know who you're selling to too. So what happened? Why did private equity and institutional buyers start paying attention to creator businesses, and what are they looking to get out of them?
Well, so these are private equity funds who used to buy media. And as we all know, a lot of us who might be from Hollywood, film and TV is really struggling right now. And all of the attention is on digital medias and digital creators. Unilever last year, their CEO said, we are going to spend 50% of our ad dollars, our spend dollars, towards digital creators. So that really signaled to the market, this is where the attention is going. And if any of you have kids, I mean, I have a teenager, like, can you get them to go to a theater anymore? No, they're on YouTube, they're on TikTok, they're on Instagram. If that's where the audience is, and then that's where you have to go. So the private equity funds, they just go with where the numbers are. If the deal flows and the marketing dollars are all flowing to the digital creator space, they're starting to look now. I mean, a year or two, I started getting those conversations. Now I have them coming to me with their checks open saying, I want to buy. But the biggest problem right now, Jim, is there's not enough inventory. There isn't mature creator businesses who are ready to be acquired yet. And that's why I'm incredibly busy right now.
Okay. So that's a great lead into, you have this 7-stage framework called the CreatorArq, which goes from first upload, I just uploaded some content. Hi, everyone. Hello, world. To I just got $100,000 million check right here. So talk about the 7-stage framework and maybe some of the stages that aren't as obvious to creators as they should be.
So from the very first upload, I say to every creator, please have clean chain of title. The B-roll that you're using, the music that you're using, you better own it. Because if you don't own it, then a streamer who comes to you wanting to license or a private equity fund coming to buy will not be okay with your chain of title being completely unknown by you.
I want to give a perfect example. There are creators out there who put stuff on TikTok or Instagram of all this great music. They put it in. It's great. Oh, this is wonderful. And then Tubi comes calling and says, hey, we want to put your back catalog on our big OTT network. And then they look at it and say, do you own the license to that? Well, TikTok gave it to me. It's like, no, you don't. So, by the way, Epidemic Sound over there, one of our sponsors, is doing a lot of good stuff in that area. If you're concerned about that, go talk to them. Sorry, keep on going, Tyler. You just got me going.
That's okay. So clean chain of title from day one. Have an LLC. Have a business account. Do you know how many creators don't have these and they're making $500,000, $1 million a year? Making sure that if you have an independent contractor or an employee, that you have work for hire language. Everything that they make for you is owned by you. So many creators don't have this. So I'm now having to go and clean up their chain of title, clean up all of their agreements. Making sure you have a solid, full IP portfolio. Trademarks. Do you own your brand? Do you do copyrights on your videos? You don't have to because you have a first layer of protection. But if you really want to be protected and you have long videos, then you have to copyright them. I mean, do we have time to go?
There's a lot. No, we don't actually have any time.
You guys can come.
The good news is in 10 minutes, we'll be over there talking about an AMA with Tyler. We have it pattern is for legal, but you can come ask her anything. And if she wants to, she'll answer it. So Tyler, thank you very much. We're done right here, right now. Big round of applause for Tyler.
Very quickly, you can find me on YouTube or LinkedIn, Tyler Chou Law for Creators or CreatorArq. Thanks so much, everyone.
Oh, great. Thank you, Tyler.